Hey, world champ, congrats, man. It's all good. Hey,
Man, I can't wait. I can't wait to see y'all stacking y'all team up now.
Hey, how you doing? Good to see you. All right.
Is this sort of the Michael Jordan farewell tour?
Be out here with my former teammates, Michael.
I don't know, but I think that needs to be doing interviews. All right.
which it serves. Tonight we're proud to present this check to Scottie Pippen Foundation and Operation Push Excel for $107.
My name's Jeff Locke, L-O-C-K-E.
And your title?
I'm the General Manager for Ameritech Cellular in Illinois.
Barton.
One more to we're out of here, pal. Down low goes one. Looking good, MJ. That technical is on Dan Rowe from Channel 9. The coach.
Superior!
and their friends have had a rousing time here at the stadium. We'll have all the details. There's John Starks walking off the floor, and, well, you'll get to see them all coming up in just a few minutes right here on WGN News at 9. All I can tell you is you've probably heard Michael Jordan talk about being in a zone. Well, he was definitely in that zone tonight. This was like one of the best sandlot basketball games played by professionals that I've ever seen. The fans definitely got their money's worth. They were on their feet for most of the evening. And should I tell you, guess who they came to see? Michael was mobbed as he entered the stadium. A standing ovation as Chicago's #1 hero put down his baseball bat just long enough to bounce a basketball and do what he does best. Earlier, fans crowded outside the stadium waiting for one and only one thing.
I wanted to see Jordan in his last game.
To see Michael, mainly, and Scottie. I'm from St. George, Utah. Traveled a long way to come here tonight.
Back inside, a standing room only crowd filled the Chicago Stadium for the last event before the old venerable building is torn down. Coach Dan Rowan of the Red Team talked about plans he has for his team.
At halftime, they're trading Michael to my team. So I'm going to have Scottie, Michael, Horace, BJ, and Kukoc all on the same team. We're going to start the second half that way.
Jordan will play on the white team, coached by all-time great Mr. Cub, Ernie Banks.
It's an opportunity to be with these outstanding athletes and to see them play and perform, and above all, it's for a great cause, Push Excel.
Ameritech, which sponsored the event, presented a check to Scottie Pippen.
We presented a check for $175,000 to the Scottie Pippen Foundation, Operation Push Excel.
With Coach Dan Rowan guiding the team and Jordan seemingly back to his old form, passing and shooting and scoring, tonight's game turned out to be a thriller. Well, I can only say that this was a truly thriller. I think everyone really got their money's worth. The crowd, as I said, was on their feet most of the night. They're now beginning to file out of here. The game lasted much longer than they had anticipated because they didn't have many fouls, although Coach Dan Rowan did get a technical foul for throwing his coat on the floor at one of the calls by the referees. I think that was staged, though. But it was just a great evening. Everyone had a lot of fun. All of the teammates seemed to play well among each other. This was almost an all-star team out here on the floor tonight. So it was a lot of fun, and it was all for a good cause. So live from the stadium, Robert Jordan, WGN News. Sorry you guys weren't here.
Oh, so are we. Thanks, Bob. That Dan is...
It's our charity event this evening.
We're already running late, too. Players only, I might add. Scottie Pippen.
Thank you guys for coming out. I really appreciate it. I appreciate that, you know, guys, the media coverage over the game has really hyped the game out. And, you know, say no more, I think Michael really put the icing on the cake for us. He made the game very exciting, as well as the other players, Penny Hardaway. They made this event very special, and you know, it really makes me remember a lot of the great memories being back in Chicago Stadium, the excitement that the fans brought in. I really appreciate the support that you guys have did, as well as the fans, Mary Tech, Ray Clark. It was a lot of hard work, and I'm glad it came out to where this has to be ranked among one of the greatest charity events in the NBA history. Thank you.
Ameritech, Scottie, and you.
Thank you.
Is this the perfect way to close the stadium?
I think it was. I think it was great, you know, having one of the greatest guys ever play in this building to be able to come back and really have the fans here to cheer the game on, and realizing that this is a charity event, and you know, it just gives you a warm feeling to your heart.
How was it checking MJ?
Well, I've been checking him for 7 years behind the curtain in practice, so it was kind of tough because I didn't want him to embarrass me out on the court. But you know, Michael's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and it's tough to shut him down. And I realized that throughout my career. I had a lot of fun with him, and I really appreciate him, speaking from a friend standpoint, of him being able to come out tonight and really help me in his charity event.
How much do you think he misses it, Scottie?
I don't think he misses it at all. I mean, he still enjoys the game. He still realizes that he's very dominant in the game, but I don't think he missed playing it. You know, just speaking with him, you know, he said he enjoyed playing baseball. So I'm sure that's where he keeps his heart right now.
Has he lost anything at all?
Well, I mean, this is the off season, and you know, a lot of guys came out there out of shape, but you know, judging from the last 7 years that I've been competing against him, I can't tell that he's lost anything.
Scottie, could you talk about the way Michael went out? He looks around the stadium, he kisses the floor, and then he just walks off after that.
Well, I think, you know, looking back at Michael's career and all the great things that have happened to him in Chicago Stadium, you know, he knew that that was probably his last ball game period, that he can probably really say that, you know, he'll never walk back on a basketball court. And on the other hand, I think the fans here really appreciate the great enthusiasm that Michael has brought to the game of basketball, and especially to Chicago Stadium.
Did he seem tight early on, a little bit nervous? The legs weren't there, a little bit nervous early on, would you say?
No. Maybe maybe you should have been guarding.
I don't think so, no.
He's as intense about winning as he always has been.
He did. I mean, you know, all the years that I was with Michael, he was always a competitor. He comes out on the court and, you know, he loves to play games where he can compete to see if he can win. And that's the way the game was tonight, and I think that's why it kept the game exciting. I think it kept the fans in it. And as I said, it's probably one of the greatest NBA charity games I ever played in, because it was a lot of fun, it was exciting, and the fans really made the game because of their cheering and the noise.
Scottie, what went through your mind noticing with Horace and BJ and Michael out there, noticed this is the last time you walk off this place where you won this championship?
Well, a lot of great memories, you know, having Horace as a teammate and, you know, being in the situation that I'm in right now, you know, you never know. So, you know, I appreciate those guys really coming out and supporting me. We had a lot of fun, and, you know, if it was our last game together, then, you know, I've enjoyed the past.
Why'd you do it, Scottie?
Scottie, does a game like this get you excited for the season?
It really does. I mean, I think we realize that, you know, how bad our conditioning is, for one, but I think we're ready to get back to playing basketball, because basketball is not on, so we don't have any type of entertainment.
In light of what you went through this past season, were you really pleased with the fan support that you got?
Well, I'm always pleased with the fans. I think the fans have been great for me here in Chicago. I've never doubted in my mind that, you know, the fans disliked me here. And, you know, any time I go on the floor, I know I'm going to give 110%, and I think the fans are going to appreciate my work ethics.
Scottie, if you had your choice, would you like to stay with the Bulls the rest of your career?
I don't want to really answer that directly, but, you know, my feeling right now is to be happy and play basketball.
Scottie, have you talked to Michael about your situation with the Bulls?
No, I have not. You know, I think Michael realized that, you know, this is a business as well as I do, and that's pretty much totally out of my hands as well as he is.
How about Horace getting booed?
I didn't hear him get booed.
Scottie, talk about your relationship with Tony Kukoc. You guys friends, you get along, you're looking forward to playing with him this fall and winter?
Well, I think if me and Tony didn't agree with one another, or if I disliked Tony, we definitely wouldn't have been able to meet on the court tonight. You know, I think it's all been a lot of hype that, you know, me and Tony disagree with each other, maybe that I disagree with Tony. I have nothing against Tony. I like Tony as much as any of my teammates, and, you know, I wish all that would be put behind me. I've never been a type of person to hold a grudge against anyone, so why is it that you guys are continuing to try to build it up on one of my teammates?
Do you want to see Michael come back, Scottie, after tonight?
Depending on which team you're on.
Would it be tough for you guys to play on the same team again, would you say?
No, I don't think it'd be tough. You know, I think it'd be great. You know, looking at the players that we've lost, I would love to have the opportunity to have it back.
One more question, then we got to run.
Will you have this game here next year, but at the United Center?
I don't think I'm going to have it here, but I look forward to trying to have some type of charity event, and hopefully it can be basketball. Hey, I really appreciate you guys. My time is very valuable right now, so thank you.
Scottie Pippen talking right there, and kind of interesting. He says, boy, if Michael would come back, why not? The Bulls could use him. But it was also interesting that he wants to bury the hatchet with, as far as Tony Kukoc goes. He wants people to forget that there might be a controversy there, although when we asked the question, Scottie, do you expect to be with the Chicago Bulls the rest of your career? He'd rather not comment on that. I thought that was very interesting because right now he obviously has a problem with Tony Kukoc making more money and with the trade rumors.
You have to feel for him to a lot of extent because, again, he is the man that brought this team or helped bring this team 3 NBA championships. And as we all know, comparable pay for comparable work or whatever. And he says, just pay me. That's what he wants. And he said it's very tough for him to see other people getting the money, and he's not. And so, he's, keeping his cards close to his chest right now and pretty much waiting to see how the cards will fall, considering that the season is still several weeks away and the training camps haven't opened up right now. I think we're waiting for... who's coming through right now?
Here's Michael himself.
Here, Michael is coming through right now.
Michael and the Reverend Jesse Jackson. Michael's stopping with everyone, but we're going to hear from Michael Jordan in just a couple of seconds right here. 52 points again, folks, as Michael's team wins 187 to 150 in a 48-minute game. Jesse Jackson is going to make some comments at the podium right now. Michael is behind him. And let's hear from Jesse Jackson.
That's it. Let me express on behalf of Push XL, the Reverend Willie Barrett, Chairman of the Board of Operation Push, to Attorney Jeanette Wilson, who is Executive Director, who has been leading marches against violence through the streets of our city and cities across this country, to Jonathan Jackson, who is President of Push XL, and to Michael Jordan. To Michael, to Scott, and all those who played tonight, this is not the first time Michael has been involved in the cause of making a difference in our community. Michael and I have been talking so much tonight about the troubled children of this generation, and they're self-destructing and destroying other people. It's Chicago, it's New Jersey, it's Lumberton, it's across our country. And somehow the reason we want to express particular thanks to Michael, who has seen his responsibility as an adult, as a father, as a husband, as a son, who's known the impact of this self-destructive violence firsthand, lending his talent and time to help generate some resources to begin to really address it. This week in Washington, Mr. Banks, the public schools are closed because parents filed a suit because of fire hazards. If fire hazards and security and asbestos were used as the basis for closing urban schools, most of them would be closed. There's much to be said about second-class schools and first-class jails. For many of these youth who go to these schools are in fact substandard. If they can just get to jail, it's warm in the wintertime, it's cool in the summertime, it's adult supervision, it's organized recreation. In the jails, there are no rims without nets. There's an ample supply of balls, and there's 24-hour medical care. When for our youth, going to jail is a step up, there's something morally decadent about that. We were at Carver High in New Orleans yesterday, the high school of Marshall Faulk, who now plays with Indianapolis, and the youth could hardly stay there because of no air conditioning. There are no jails that are not air conditioned. Therefore, for us, the issue is not 3 strikes and you're out, but rather 4 balls and you're on. For if a crime is heinous enough and the person is sick enough, maybe 1 strike is enough. But fundamentally, we must reclaim our youth and not disclaim them. Prenatal care and Head Start, ball 1. An adequately funded public education, ball 2. A marketable skill, ball 3. 82% of the youth who are in jail are high school dropouts, and a job, ball 4. So tonight we bring, in addition to the joy of the game, that level of sober maturity. We must stop the violence. We must break the cycle of pain. Children in this city have been calling funeral directors, planning their funerals at age 15 and 16. They want to have a beautiful funeral. And they're having babies at the age 14 because they feel that they are old people by age 20. And our society must deal with this epidemic in a systemic way. And so for Michael to be willing to play basketball tonight and to cut public service announcements and make himself available to use his celebrity, to use his stature to help save our children and redeem our society makes him for us more than a champion on the court, but a hero. Because champions, in the real sense, are the best at what they do in a given sport, and champions ride on the shoulders of the people. But heroes, people ride on their shoulders, and so many people ride on Michael's shoulders, and the fact that he stands up under it with such maturity and such character obligates us and future generations. Michael, we thank you for being the mature adult you are, and the public servant beyond the playing field and the court. Thank you so much.
Well, I'm back in Chicago again. It's been a long time since I've been back, and I think all the people here are more or less sports writers, and I think you don't really understand, and maybe you do, of what Mr. Jackson said just now, and it carries merit, even though I just finished playing a game. I think life and what's happening in our society is not truly a game, it's life, and I think everyone should be committed, as myself and a lot of these participants in this game, that help raise money to try to go to that funds of helping less fortunate people, should take it very seriously and try to make a contribution in whatever way possible. I think the game today was a very good game, but I think it relaxes us away from a lot of the tensions that's happening in life today, and I think that's what sports does. But I think sports should never override what true life is all about, and that's helping out each other and more or less giving something back to our community. And I think that was the purpose of everyone here today, and certainly of all the fans that came here. Even though it was my last time, and certainly the longest time that it's been a while since I've been here in the Chicago Stadium, and I think that it goes without saying that even with that at mind, I think just coming out and making a contribution to this whole effort means a lot, and I think we all should learn from that. So thanks a lot, and I know you guys.
Obviously, we're having a problem with our audio and video from Chicago Stadium. As soon as we get it back on track, we'll bring Michael Jordan's comments to you after the game. Michael Jordan with 52 points tonight, and what obviously will be his final basketball performance ever at Chicago Stadium, because the Bulls, of course, will start playing in the United Center this November. Question is, will this rekindle the fire in Michael Jordan to want to come back in the NBA? I'm sure Michael will say no, it doesn't. He's committed to trying to learn how to play baseball, and we'll leave it at that. 187-150 was the final score of the game. Michael's team winning, just in case you are keeping score in this thing. We'll take a look at some of the highlights of tonight's game at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan back in the big barn for the final time, and kind of wears well, doesn't it? Seeing Michael Jordan on the court at Chicago Stadium, has a big smile, because he had always said he never really wanted to play in the United Center. He wanted to finish his career in Chicago Stadium, hitting the jumpers early on, just getting warmed up. BJ and Horace Grant together playing on the team opposite of Michael Jordan, talking before the game. But you might be able to guess who got the biggest round of applause during the introductions tonight. Now, on the other hand, Horace Grant did not get so warm a reception when he was introduced later on. One gets the impression that Horace may have expected that. Of course, his contract with the Orlando Magic still being held up in court, while the court will rule if indeed Horace Grant's contract violates the salary cap. Now, for a little basketball, Michael brings it up the floor, takes the jumper right over Scottie's head, and of course, Michael would tell Scottie exactly how he did it as they were coming back up the floor. Later on, Michael Jordan on the drive. Now, granted, people weren't playing tough defense in this thing, but Michael still goes in for the sweet move. Then, Michael Jordan, maybe the first thing to go when you haven't played basketball in a while is the long-range jump shooting, but obviously didn't bother Michael Jordan there. Knocks down a three-pointer. And then later on, BJ shows that Michael may be a little rusty on defense. Dishes it off to Scottie Pippen for the jam. 187-150, the final score tonight. Michael Jordan shoots 24 of 46 shots from the floor, and gives Scottie Pippen and all the people who organized the game credit. They gave the fans exactly what they wanted. Michael Jordan played all 48 minutes. We've got the feedback from Chicago Stadium. Well, we take that back. We don't have it quite yet. We've got the picture back from Chicago Stadium, Michael talking, but we don't have the audio quite yet. Number 2 scorer in the game tonight, Penny Hardaway of the Orlando Magic. He chipped in 42 points. In case you're wondering about Horace Grant, maybe he's not in shape. Maybe he didn't like the reception he got from the stadium. He was 3 for 10 for 7 points. Now let's go back to the stadium and pick up the comments of Michael Jordan.
Feel like you were back home?
Yeah, I felt I was back home. I mean, I've been gone for a while, and it was good to come back. It was good to see old faces. It was good to feel the support of Chicago. I mean, it's been a while since I felt that support, but you know, I feel that they would respect me as much as I respect them, and I'll do whatever I can to make this city good. I know it's good already, but to help it out and make it better, and do whatever.
How competitive were you out there, Michael?
Excuse me?
How competitive, how serious was it for you?
I'm always competitive. I don't go out there just mess around. I go out there to play hard. I may smile, I may joke, but I'm playing hard, and even though I was kidding with Scottie Pippen, I had some meaning with Scottie Pippen. I mean, what y'all saw today with he and I, it's been going on in practice every day, when I was playing against him. So hopefully he's learned from me as much as I've learned from him, and take it from there.
This didn't whet your appetite.
Excuse me?
This didn't whet your appetite to come back?
No. I can still do this. I just don't have to do it in front of 676. I can just do it in any gym and with any people that I want to, and that's a rarity freedom.
Michael,
so I love that.
Your progress, the last 2 weeks of the season, you're batting over 300 now. I mean, from the beginning to the end, you as the last 2 weeks of the season, where are you right now?
I'm still improving. To a lot of you guys dismay, I'm still improving. A lot of you guys didn't think I would do what I did. I did it, and I will continue to do it. I believe in myself, I believe in my dream, and I will continue to follow my dream. And naturally, I have pros and cons about what I do, but I believe in what I do. And as long as I'm not hurting anyone and I'm just enjoying the opportunity that America provides for us, I hope, that's all I'm going to do.
What's the possibility of you being a two-sport man?
Huh?
What's the possibility of you playing baseball and
I'm a 3-sport man. I play baseball, I play golf, I play basketball. I don't see that happening. Lacey Banks.
Mike, what was the symbolism?
Can you speak to the gang violence that's played in the city? Can you speak to the youth? Is there some kind of message you can send out right here tonight?
Well, I think as we all understand, it's a major problem. I think to give advice and yet live in a different environment, sometimes it's hard to accept, because I don't live in the environment that they live in. I don't live with the different challenges and the different problems that they deal with day in and day out. So my advice to them is a distant but yet a very faithful and concerned one, is to look to a positive influence nearby who can influence them to do positive things, such as get a job, believe in what they believe in. Don't be afraid to take chances. Don't be afraid to accept trying. Don't be afraid to accept failure too. I mean, because that's going to happen to every American. But you have to be strong enough to go through it. And what my job, what your job, what Mr. Jackson's job is to try to maintain that positive energy, influence as we can, from a distance or even from a close up. And that's all I can do. And I think that for all the kids that respect what I do and respect what everyone else here do, we can only just keep pushing, keep fighting for what you believe in. Hopefully it's in a positive frame of mind. Hopefully it's right and not wrong. And hopefully you reach that dream that you believe in.
Michael, with the fan response the way it was, and everybody's telling you to come back and
and you know where your heart is. How difficult is it to continue to say no when people ask you?
It's not hard. I mean, I think a lot of the times it's more selfish than anything, but it's natural. You know, I think if true friends and true fans understand where I am in my life and what I want to achieve in my life, you know, they understand what I'm doing. You know, they understand what my objectives are. Naturally, you will want certain things, but you don't always get those things, and yet you got to understand it from my point of view. You know, my life has been where I provided for a lot of people, a lot of entertainment, a lot of excitement, and they provided a lot of things for me. But at some point in time, you know, it's got to end. You know, I can't play forever. They know that, and I know that. And I'm just glad that I'm at a state in my life that I can make that choice. Very few people get that chance, and I took it.
Have you set a time frame in your mind on when you would make it to the major leagues?
That happens, you know. You want to do it tomorrow, but it's not always your choice. I realize that, and all I can ask is that I work hard, I'm healthy, and I learn, and I progress. And if you work hard enough, good things will happen to you. You know, that's the ultimate goal, yes. How soon that's going to happen? Only the man upstairs determine that. I just work hard and let things happen for what they are.
Mike, why don't you take the last shot? I want you to take one last shot. Why don't you pass it up?
I think this saw enough. I think, yeah, I've taken a lot of shots. I was tired, really, and I just want to end on a good note. A good note was Scottie Pippen blocking my shot, and it's his house now, it's his place, and I wish him well, and I just hope everybody in Chicago support him as they support me. I mean, everybody make mistakes. I made mistakes. He's going to make mistakes, but as long as he's a part of the Chicago Bulls, I think we all should support him until something else happens. Just support the guy.
Michael, would you...
Let me express to you that we're going to end the press conference now. Mike has been generous with his time, broke the rhythm of his schedule with baseball and family to be with us tonight, and to give the alligators time to snap a little bit. You can ask your last question, so you won't go off on me. And so Michael now is free to not play, and we are free to keep urging him to play, so the war continues. Last question. Michael, you're not going to break our spirit. We're going to keep hope alive.
I know.
Yes, last question.
Michael, when you were here, you had Scottie Pippen. When you left, Scottie Pippen didn't have Scottie Pippen. How well do you think he enjoyed that?
Well, I mean, when I first got here, I didn't have Scottie Pippen, the Scottie Pippen that you see now. I mean, you got to realize it takes a process of growth around him. I mean, if Scottie Pippen was a Scottie Pippen when I first got here, we would have had 5, 6 championships. So I think people tend to forget the progress and the growth period and maturity that Scottie Pippen took. And was I a part of that? Maybe, maybe not. But as long as Scottie Pippen's here, Tony Kukac's, the B.J. Armstrong's got to take a period of growth and the maturity before they come to Scottie Pippen that was supporting me. And I think until people realize that, you know, it's going to be a tough time for Scottie Pippen and a tough time for the fans.
Michael, again, for your support in helping us stop the violence and save our children, we're grateful.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
All right, guys.
Michael Jordan, his last hurrah at the Chicago Stadium and the last ever event at the old Chicago Stadium.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Channel Report for a Friday night. The Madhouse on West Madison was rocking again tonight. That's because Michael Jordan was playing on the Chicago Stadium hard court one last time. Tonight, His Airness took part in the Scottie Pippen All-Star Classic. MJ and Scottie did not play on the same team, but Michael Jordan certainly gave the crowd what they wanted tonight. 48 minutes of Michael Jordan in the game. He played the entire contest. Early on, looking like he hadn't lost the touch as he warmed up before the game. Michael Jordan hasn't really played basketball, at least we haven't seen him play ball for a long time, but he had it going tonight. B.J. Armstrong and Horace Grant on the opposing team, Scottie Pippen on the opposing team as well, and when it was time for the pregame introductions, you might be able to guess who got the loudest and most raucous ovation. On the other hand, the reception for the departed Horace Grant, not as warm as it may have been a few months ago. Once all the introductions were out of the way, time for a little basketball at Chicago Stadium tonight. One more time at 1800 West Madison. This is billed as the final event ever in the building. Of course, the Bulls will open play in the United Center coming up in November. Michael Jordan, top of the key, knocks that jumper down. Knocked it down over Scottie Pippen, as a matter of fact, and Michael spent a little time telling Scottie about it later on. This is really what the fans came to see. Michael Jordan picking up the ball in the open court, driving to the basket and slamming it home. Michael Jordan with 52 points tonight. Then MJ showing a little touch, spots up. It's just inside the three-point stripe, didn't matter. Michael 24 of 46 from the field tonight. And Michael getting used a little bit on defense there by B.J. Armstrong. But let's face it, the guys weren't there to play defense. They were there to play offense. And offense is what everybody got. 187-150. Michael Jordan's team, in case you're keeping score, wins the Scottie Pippen All-Star Classic. Penny Hardaway had 42 points tonight. Scottie Pippen had 24. Tony Kukoc had 17. B.J. Armstrong had 23. All tonight, the Scottie Pippen All-Star Classic. After the game, Michael Jordan and company shared their thoughts on their final appearance at Chicago Stadium. Scottie Pippen, in particular, talked about the fun he had playing one more time at the stadium.
Say no more. I think Michael really put the icing on the cake for us. He made the game very exciting, as well as the other players, Penny Hardaway. They made this event very special, and it really makes me remember a lot of the great memories being back in Chicago Stadium, the excitement that the fans brought in. I really appreciate the support that you guys have did, as well as the fans, Mary Tech, Ray Clark. It was a lot of hard work, and I'm glad it came out to where this has to be ranked among one of the greatest charity events in the NBA history. Thank you.
From way downtown, Mad Max, world champion Houston Rockets. Here they come.
You gotta walk up.
Look out. Just slow. MJ in the corner. Look out.
Red team personal foul, Isaiah. Willie Burton returns for the white team for John Starks.
Double slam.
The basket, personal foul, Willie Burton.
Timeout on the floor.
He took all of my spot.
Chicago, do you love it? Do you want more?
Isaiah Ryder, 3. Willie Burton. Isaiah Ryder.
Technical foul.
8 seconds. No basket.
Hey, you want to get in this picture? Lean over this way. Come over this way. Well, actually, I was in Mexico City this morning, and while I was lying in bed early, about 6 a.m. Mexico City time, I watched the Sports Center report that said he's playing. So when I got done speaking, I jumped on a plane and came to Chicago. What else is better to do tonight? Well, I just felt that if it was going to be his last opportunity to play, and particularly in this building with the great support that these people have given over the years, I always loved coming here and being part of the team that was playing or competing against the Bulls, and I was fortunate enough to be able to do it, so it's nice to be here. I think he's still working on his scoring average right now. You know, when he's number one, he hates to give up that spot. Meaning the last game ever here? Well, this building has so many memories, so many great games have taken place, not only in basketball, but hockey along the way, and the concerts, just the memories that have gone on here. And people always wonder, well, what are they going to do with this building when it's all said and done? I'm not sure myself as the outsider what they're going to do with it, but the fact that this is going to be the last event in it, I'm glad that I could be here. Yeah.
Tony Kukoc.
from downtown. Gary Payton, Chicago Bulls.
151-130 in favor of the white team.
Here they come. Kenny to Burton. Dave Onak to the scorer's table, please. Dave Onak to the scorer's table. Michael on Scottie.
Red team retains.
Here he comes. Michael Jordan.
6:30 to go in the fourth, and he gets on the board.
Michael on Scottie. This is what we wanted to see. Payton to Penny. Look out! Penny Hardaway. Penny with the steal. He looks.
Michael Jordan.
And then the blast. Here they come. Starks on the corner. Here comes the red. Pippen. Scottie Pippen. Let's hear it for the man. Oh, here it is again. Pip on the D. Welcome, Pip. Welcome, Pip. Dogs on the interception. Bird with the slam. All right, Pip. Go.
Belongs to the red team. The scoop to the hoop, Mark Jackson. The red team retains possession. watch you again, Mike. Michael, goodbye from Chicago Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, please stir off the basketball floor. Let's have fun, Chicago!
Well, it's going to be sad to leave the Chicago Stadium. It's been a great building. We've had 3 World Championships here, a lot of memories. It's great. Oh, you can't beat it. That's one of the memories everybody in this stadium will have forever. Oh, I'm glad I had a chance to be here. It's really fantastic. Love it. Thank you.
Have you been here at the stadium a number of years?
Yes.
Tell me what your thoughts were when you saw this team play tonight.
It was just great to see the players here again for this last event for the children. It was just wonderful to be here, to be part of it, to be on the floor. It was just wonderful.
Were you surprised that Michael played?
Yes, I was. I heard he wasn't playing, and I was just glad to see him here because it brought in a lot of extra fans, and I was really glad to be here.
What do you thought seeing Michael play? What do you thought? Do you miss him?
Oh, sure. I hope he comes back. He's great for Chicago. He's great for the team.
Thanks.
Thanks.
What's your name?
Don Watson, 24-second clock operator for Chicago Bulls.
Tell me about your thoughts. You told me you were sad.
Well, what really touched my heart is when Michael took the final ball, went out there and kicked that ball in the middle of the floor. All of a sudden I had flashbacks about the first time I ever came here. Sitting way up there in the second balcony, coming in and paying only $2 for the game, and now here I am for the very last time in this building. It's like losing a piece of Chicago now.
What was it like seeing Michael again?
I had goosebumps. I mean, I froze. My arms were like, I couldn't move them.
What, do you think he'll come back?
I don't think so. I really don't, because once Michael makes a decision to do something, he doesn't change his mind. I don't think he's coming back.
Tell me some of your memories that you had. You were here for all those championship games. What do you remember most? What will you miss most?
I think I remember most the very first, the second championship. When we won the second one, when all the players were over there dancing on top of the scores table. That's something I'll never forget.
Now you're going to move over to the United Center. Is it just going to be, compare your thoughts to what it's going to be like there and now?
This is a much bigger building, and the crowd's not as on top of the action as has always been here. I think if the Bulls win, they'll keep coming back, but if not, it's going to be, it's like an echo chamber in there. I don't want to see that happen, but I'll still be there, because I love the team, I love the city.
It's just not going to be the same as it is here.
No.
Your general thoughts about the stadium.
Well, there's so many, I don't really know what to say. It's just that I miss this place. It's like home away from home. I've been coming here for 25, this is my silver anniversary season, and I'm glad I did get a chance to see the very last basketball game in Chicago Stadium. It's something I will never forget. I can tell my grandkids I was a part of it. Thank you.
and entertaining the fans with alley-oops from half court with lots of laughing and hugging. But tonight in Chicago, an atypical summer classic in Chicago, at least from the standpoint of current NBA players. Michael Jordan is not a current NBA player. No, he's retired and known as the greatest player ever. There'll be no Beatles reunion. Elvis is still dead, but Michael Jordan is back at the stadium. Scottie's charity game. The fans waiting for the hero. He arrived first time since June of 1993. This will be the last game for Jordan and any basketball game at Chicago Stadium. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael being introduced. First quarter, Michael, top of the key, release, rotation, splash. His first bucket back in the stadium. Then Michael on the break. Can he still dunk? Oh, you betcha. Then Jordan versus Scottie Pippen. Scottie playing the D. Michael misses. Look at Penny Hardaway. He had 42. Vernon Maxwell. Who are you going to give it to, Vern? You're going to give it to Michael Jordan. Air Jordan. 52 points. His team wins. Pippen scored 24. Jordan 24 of 46 for his 52 points. One more point than he had RBIs all year in baseball. He played all 48 minutes in this game. A sellout crowd of over 18,000 witnessed the final hoop game at Chicago Stadium. Brett.
really understand, and maybe you do, of what Mr. Jackson said just now, and carries merit, even though I just finished playing the game. I think life and what's happening in our society is not truly a game, it's life. And something back to our community, and I think that was the purpose of everyone here today, and certainly of all the fans that came here, even though, you know, it was my last time, and certainly the longest time that it's been a while since I've been here in Chicago Stadium, and I think that, you know, it goes without saying that even with that at mind, I think just coming out and making a contribution to this whole effort means a lot, and I think we all should learn from that. So thanks a lot, and I know you guys will have a lot of stupid questions to ask me.
Michael, did you want the opportunity, though, to really have a farewell game?
That was part of the reason for coming, is that I really didn't have an opportunity to play my last game in Chicago Stadium. You know, I played it in Phoenix, and you know, what I did at the end of the game in terms of kissing the floor goodbye was truly what that was. It was an opportunity to say goodbye to the stadium, as well as to my opportunities of playing in the stadium. And it meant a lot to me. It's given me a lot, and I think I've given it a lot. And it's a mutual love and mutual understanding, and you know, it's just time to move on.
Were you kissing the game of basketball goodbye as well?
No, the game of basketball is always going to be a part of me. I never said I was going to stop playing the game. I just said that I wouldn't play organized basketball, and you know, I will continue to play the game no matter what. And these type of functions, you know, it's fun, as you know, but it's a meaning behind it. And you know, I had a great time out there tonight, and hopefully whoever came to watch the game had a great time watching, not just myself, but such great young talent. I think NBA basketball is in great hands. I think a lot of young talent is going to maintain the interest and the love for the game, and I'm going to be a fan just like everybody else. I was a fan out there even though I played, and I had a great time.
Can you talk about when you finally got in the groove early on? Did you feel tight out there? It seems like you loosened up as the game went on.
Well, yeah, I mean, I haven't played. I haven't played much. I played the last couple of days just trying to get back in shape, and you know, so I wouldn't come out here and, as Reverend Jackson said, embarrass myself. I wanted to make sure that when I stepped on the court, you guys couldn't say he's lost this, he's lost that, you know, which I know the criticism was going to happen. But I think I showed to you guys that if I want to play, I can play. So I had a good time, and that was the purpose for being out here. And no matter what happened between Scottie Pippen and myself at the end, I think he deserves a lot of credit for putting forth his name and his effort to put this game together and give something back. I mean, it was something good to see from him. I think that's a part of his maturity. And I think we all had to learn at certain times to step up and, you know, give something back and earn your name, earn your spotlight. And I think he's doing that. Naturally, he's going to have his pros and cons. That's what they are, pros and cons. You got to be strong to go through it all. We all have been through bad times, and he's going to go through bad times. But by all means, the good is going to outweigh the bad. That's the way I see it.
Is your next step winner ball or what?
Everything's dictated on the strike. You know, if the strike continues, it won't be winning ball. That means I get to stay home around Chicago with my family. So,
Mike, what's your favorite Chicago Stadium moment?
My first game. That's where it all started. I mean, it's hard to. It's like when you got 5 kids, you're trying to say which is your best kid. You know, every day I stepped on this court, I gave 110%. You know, I tried to, you know, enjoy the game and make sure everybody else enjoyed the game. So to pick out one moment and say that overrides everything else, it's unfair.
When you went out there tonight, did you feel like you were back home?
Yeah, I felt I was back home. I mean,
I've been on one of the greatest charity events in the NBA history. Thank you.
Manatech, Scottie, and you.
Thank you.
Is this the perfect way to close the stadium? To end it?
I think it was. I think it was great, you know, having one of the greatest guys ever play in this building to be able to come back and really have the fans here to cheer the game on, and realizing that this is a charity event, and you know, it just gives you a warm feeling to your heart.
How was it checking MJ?
Well, I've been checking him for 7 years behind the curtain in practice, so it was kind of tough because I didn't want him to embarrass me out on the court. But you know, Michael's one of the greatest players to ever play the game, and it's tough to shut him down. And I realized that throughout my career, I had a lot of fun with him, and I really appreciate him speaking from a friend standpoint of him being able to come out tonight and really help me in this charity event.
How much do you think he misses it, Scottie?
I don't think he missed it at all. I mean, he still enjoys the game. He still realizes that he's very dominant in the game, but I don't think he missed playing it. You know, just speaking with him, you know, he said he enjoyed playing baseball, so I'm sure that's where he keeps his heart right now.
Has he lost anything at all?
Well, I mean, this is all off season, and you know, a lot of guys came out there out of shape, but you know, judging from the last 7 years that I've been competing against him, I can't tell if he's lost anything.
Scottie, could you talk about the way Michael went out? He looks around the stadium, he kisses the floor, and he just walks off after that.
Well, I think, you know, looking back at Michael's career and all the great things that have happened to him in Chicago Stadium, you know, he knew that that was probably his last ball game period, that he can probably really say that, you know, he'll never walk back on a basketball court. And on the other hand, I think the fans here really appreciate the great enthusiasm that Michael has brought to the game of basketball, and especially to Chicago Stadium.
Did he seem tight early on, a little bit nervous? The legs weren't there, a little bit nervous early on, would you say?
No. Maybe you should have been guarding.
I don't think so, no.
Did he seem as intense about winning as he always has been?
He did. I mean, you know, all the years that I was with Michael, he was always a competitor. He comes out on the court and, you know, he loves to play games where he can compete to see if he can win. And that's the way the game was tonight, and I think that's why I kept the game exciting and kept the fans in it. And as I said, it's probably one of the greatest.
Jeanette Wilson, who's executive director, who has been leading marches against violence through the streets of our city.
Well, I'm back in Chicago again. It's been a long time since I've been back, and I think all the people here are more or less sports writers, and I think you don't really understand, and maybe you do, of what Mr. Jackson said just now, and carries merit, even though I just finished playing the game. I think life and what's happening in our society is not truly a game, it's life, and I think everyone should be committed, as myself and, you know, a lot of these participants in this game, to help raise money to try to go to that funds of helping, you know, less fortunate people, should take it very seriously and you know, try to make a contribution in whatever way possible. I think the game today was a very good game, but I think it relaxes us away from a lot of the tension that's happening in life today, and I think that's what sports does. But I think sports should never override what true life is all about, and that's helping out each other and more or less giving something back to our community. And I think that was the purpose of everyone here today, and certainly of all the fans that came here. Even though, you know, it was my last time, and certainly the longest time that it's been a while since I've been here in Chicago Stadium, and I think that, you know, it goes without saying that even with that at mind, I think just coming out and making a contribution to this whole effort means a lot. And I think we all should learn from that. So thanks a lot, and I know you guys will have a lot of stupid questions to ask me.
Michael, did you want the opportunity, though, to really have a farewell game?
That was part of it.
And welcome back to the stadium's last hurrah, featuring the Scottie Pippen Ameritech All-Star Classic. Now for coverage of the second half, let's go back to Dyro Joyner at the Chicago Stadium.
Him and Scottie got a little grudge match going, and they playing a little cat and little mouse game right now. As you see, he work out on Scottie. Oh! Just doing the see, you know, they got a little cat and mouse game going right now when they want to go at each other. So they should just let everybody go at him. Everyone clear out and let Scottie and MJ go at him. Let it be a one-on-one, Bulls versus Bulls.
Chicago Stadium, clapping for Michael Jordan, and also thanking him for so many years of excitement and pleasure here at Chicago Stadium. Michael Jordan bids farewell to Chicago.
I've been gone for a while, and it was good to come back. It was good to see old faces. It was good to feel the support of Chicago. I mean, it's been a while since I felt that support, but you know, I feel that they would respect me as much as I respect them.
Well, a lot of great memories, you know, having Horace as a teammate and, you know, being in the situation that I'm in right now, you know, you never know. So, you know, I appreciate those guys really coming out and supporting me. We had a lot of fun, and, you know, if it was our last game together, then, you know, I've enjoyed the past.
I almost felt tears coming out my eyes. Seriously, it was very emotional for me from the standpoint of the old barn, if you will, and having Michael come back, and me playing with Scottie, BJ, Tony, Corey, you know, my former teammates.
Once the game and all its business was completed, Scottie took his guests out on Lake Michigan. Actor, comedian, and close personal friend of Scottie's, Flex, took our cameras aboard.
Hey, what's going on, y'all? This is Flex. I'm here hosting this gala event on Odyssey 2. We're going around Lake Michigan and everything. I'm about to go up here and talk to the players, Scottie Pippen, Horace Grant, Bernie Maxwell, so on and so forth. And we're going to get some reactions from people out in the chairs and stuff on how the game was and how did they feel about seeing Michael Jordan play for the last time and kissing Benny the Bull. So, you know, stick around. This is what we're going to do right now. Follow me.
You know, I got to give a very special thanks to Michael because, you know, he made the game very competitive and a lot of fun. You know, being around him and competing against him every day, you know, I knew what he was bringing to the court last night. So, you know, it just put icing on the cake, but, you know, we had a lot of fun.
Yeah, and
I hope everybody else did.
I gotta thank Scottie for bringing me out. You know, I was supposed to play, but Mike said he was gonna play, so he took my place. You know.
He's the next best thing to Michael Jordan.
There we go, right there. Air Flex, baby, all the time.
We love doing this, so I keep coming back here. You know, that's cool for me.
That's right. You heard from GP right there. Right there. He'll break your ankles every day. Break your ankles. Pat out. Ankles 2 for 5, baby. This way. Hey, y'all, fellas, come on, turn around, y'all. All right. We got Bernie Maxwell right here for the championship. Houston Rockets, the world champ. World champ. Did you have fun yesterday, man?
It was great. It was great. Well, first of all, I enjoyed working with Scottie for the 6th time in my career since I've been in the league. I've only been in the league like 5 years now. So I enjoyed that. And playing with MJ, you know, and to see that excitement, you know, and just to be in the gym for the last time. So I enjoyed all that.
All right. And now, we got Sedell 3 here. Sedell 3 for the Lakers. And we got Murdoch right here. Murdoch. You talking to the slam dunk champion right there. Are you coming back next year? What's up?
Come back, man. I'm gonna try to get funky, you know what I mean, and do some new things, pull some things out the bag.
And I saw Michael Jordan. I saw Michael Jordan kiss the floor, so it made it all good.
That's all you need to see right there. He kissed the floor, man. It was remarkable. I mean, it was remarkable. That's the last hurrah right there. The last hurrah.
We knew that we were a team totally, and in no way in our eyes did we feel like that Michael could carry the whole team.
Welcome back. Before we finish things up here, let's go back to Scottie's home in Highland Park, Illinois. Mike Goldberg is there with part 2 of getting to know the real Scottie.
Scottie, draft day 1987. The dream is realized. Your second dream, your first dream, as you mentioned to us earlier, was getting the scholarship at Central Arkansas. The Chicago Bulls pick you, 5th overall pick. What was that feeling like?
It was the greatest. You know, leaving my hotel room the day of the draft. I talked to Jerry Krause, and he had told my agent, Jimmy Sexton, that they were going to try to make a trade to get me. And at that time, being a player coming from a small school, I didn't really know how I was going to fall in the draft. I didn't know if I was going to go late or go early or fall somewhere in the middle. It was kind of questionable because of me coming from a small school, but I had paid my dues, and I went to a lot of pre-draft camps and, did what I had to do to show all the scouts, that I could play. And, Jerry told me that Seattle's were going to pick me and they were going to make a trade to get me. So I had to do a little acting after I was drafted by Seattle. I had to act like I was happy, which I was. I was very happy to be drafted at, number 5, and coming from a small school and being a very underrated player, not well known, and being selected among a lot of players that really were big name players coming out of college. So I was very happy, but have an opportunity to come to the Chicago Bulls and play along with Michael, it was the greatest.
In retrospect, Jerry Krause is now a genius because he drafted Scottie Pippen, but honestly now, how big a risk did he take by taking this unknown Scottie Pippen early in the first round that year?
Well, he took a great risk, but I had a visit with Jerry. I talked with him, and that showed great interest in me to some degree, but if I had to say on that day of the draft who would draft me, I wouldn't have said Chicago Bulls, and probably taken 2 or 3 guesses. So he was very discreet in his work.
And on that same day, Horace Grant becomes a Chicago Bull. You didn't know Horace back then, did you?
No, I didn't know Horace at all. In fact, we ran into each other in the elevator in New York at the draft, and I guess he was like, who am I? But in the same sense, I didn't know who he was neither. So, we kind of hit it off well.
You knew who Harvey was because of Oklahoma, probably,
yeah.
Right? Oh, so this guy looks a lot like Harvey Grant, right?
In fact, I didn't even know Harvey. I only started watching Harvey after I got to know Horace. But, I think playing college basketball, you hear about a lot of players, but you don't really keep up with the players. At least that's the way I was. I mean, I knew players that I played against, but for us watching a lot of college basketball, I wasn't much of a big fan on it.
You guys came in the same day, and it's well documented that you and Horace Grant, frickin' frack has been used, Yeah. Fred and Barney, whatever you want to say. Scottie and Horace seems to be 2 words that always seem to go together when you talk about the Chicago Bulls.
Well, I guess, yeah, for 7 years, we was here together, but, as a player, you enjoy playing your career in one place and, hopefully playing with the same guys. But it's been a lot of fun playing with Horace. A great friend, a great person, and we've got a lot of great memories. We can truthfully say that, we came here and did our job. We was able to win 3 titles together, so that's a great accomplishment for both of us and for the city of Chicago and for the Bulls and all the other players that, were along on the team.
Pip, you guys did more than your job, though. I mean, you guys enjoyed each other's lives while you were doing your job. You came in with smiles, you left with smiles. Maybe in between there weren't some smiles. You went and purchased the same type of automobile. You live less than a mile away. Why a relationship that tight with Horace Grant?
Like I said, we just kind of hit it off real well. And, we were both 2 guys brought to a big city from the South. And, we kind of needed one another's support. And, I get a chance now to go against him and see what it's like to be on the other side of the court.
We know that it almost happened that Horace Grant remained a Chicago Bull. How much were you in your heart hoping that would happen?
Well, all of my heart was hoping that Horace Grant stayed here. Horace is a very valuable player on the court, and I think Orlando will realize it. I'm sure the Chicago Bulls will realize it too, because, as they say, they did everything in their power, to try to keep him. But, to find a guy like Horace that goes out and does his job and more, they're hard to find. I mean, he knew what his job was to rebound. And he's got a lot more to his game. And I think, going with Orlando, it'll open his game up a lot more.
How much will you miss Horace personally? just being around him every day?
I'll miss him a lot as a friend to, you know, be able to pick up the phone and call him and say, let's go meet for lunch somewhere. You know, just the things that, you know, we do as his guys, just to go hang out. But, you know, I'll still be able to pick up the phone and call him, but I don't know if we'll be able to meet up anywhere.
Yeah, and it'll be hard unless, of course, you're playing the Orlando Magic. We'll get more with Scottie Pippen in just a moment, including Scottie Pippen's NBA career, which has been dynamic. All-Star Game MVP, potential All-Star in the upcoming season. That and more as we continue on our Scottie Pippen special, The Stadium's Last Hurrah.
And Chicago favorite Dennis Savard skated circles around the NHL.
In the public eye, Scottie has taken a few punches. Some would say his is a black public eye. But really what he wants us all to understand is, while he has made a couple of mistakes, they were blown way out of proportion by the media, unjustly affecting his personal life. In part 3 of our 3-part interview with Scottie, Pip addresses these controversial issues that may have harmed his image.
1993 Eastern Conference playoffs against the New York Knickerbockers. Scottie, Michael Jordan, your teammate, all of a sudden gets a little shooting slump. And Scottie Pippen, after the unfortunate migraine headache against the Pistons, after some playoff criticism that you had taken, maybe unfairly, maybe fairly in your own mind, Scottie Pippen came to the forefront and in many Chicago Bulls fans' opinions won that series against the New York Knicks. Was that a coming out for Scottie Pippen, or had it come before that?
Well, I think it came before that. I think it goes to show that Michael Jordan is human, for one. But I think as a player that, you know, I had made my strides way before that time. But it was great for me at that time as well, because it was a big game, nationally televised. The hype from the Chicago-New York series, which they were trying to build. And, you know, it was just great for me as a player to be able to come out and be as dominant as I was.
What went wrong last season? There were some things that were misunderstood about Scottie Pippen, some incidents I'm sure you'd like to have back. If you could be that leader the first year with the Bulls with Michael gone all over again, what would you change?
It'll be a better learning process for me. But I think last year the ups and downs that you look at it are things that were taken totally out of proportion. I mean, first of all, having the gun in my car. Yes, it was wrong, and I shouldn't have had a gun in my car, but it was an accident on my part that the gun was left in my car, and therefore it was tucked away, it was locked away in a glove compartment, and it shouldn't have been found. But it was found, and it was taken, you know, to the next level. It was laying on the seat. I mean, why would I have a gun laying on the seat? I mean, there's no one out to kill me or hit me or knock me off. So, I mean, that was taken to another level, and, you know, I really looked bad. It was bad for my image. And, you know, it's something that I can't change. I mean, once people put things into your mind or tell you one thing, then, you know, that's how you're going to look at it. I mean, it's like looking at everyday life about people in courts. I mean, did he do it or did he not do it? Or what happened? I mean, you never can tell. But, you know, I was able to walk away from it, and I was innocent, and, you know, that's the way I look at it.
And then you move to the playoffs against the New York Knickerbockers. 1.8 seconds left. And now everybody just says Scottie Pippen 1.8.
I just felt like being the leader of the team, and I felt like that I was the #1 go-to guy, that I shouldn't be taking the ball out. And that was just my mentality. And we're down 2-0 in a series. Expectations were high. We needed a win to get our confidence up. We needed a win to guarantee us a game back in New York. And I feel like that I was just too much of an experienced player to be standing outside taking the ball out.
Wasn't it your turn? I mean, we talked about that earlier. Michael was gone. I know you probably felt that way. It was finally your turn to be the guy. Huh?
That was definitely the way that I felt. And in no way did it matter to me whether or not I took the shot, because it's always up to the guy out of bounds that's taking the ball out, who he tossed the ball to. But I think I should at least be made a threat. I mean, I'm sure that New York would think that if I'm there, that I'm going to be a threat. I mean, they're going to have to send maybe 1 or 2 guys after me once I get the ball, or even be conscious of me getting the ball.
What was misunderstood about the whole situation was it was perceived that Scottie Pippen was upset that Tony Kukoc got the basketball, and that Scottie Pippen and Tony Kukoc didn't like each other very much.
Well, I think people is taking that totally out of proportion. I mean, if Phil calls a play and I'm taking the ball out, I got 4 options. So if I don't like someone, or if he got the play drawn up for him, I don't have to throw him the ball anyway. So, I mean, I'm tired of hearing people saying that I don't like Tony, or I have nothing against Tony. Tony haven't did anything to me. We're the best of friends. I don't treat him any different than I treat Will Perdue or Pax or Horace or anyone. I mean, it's been taken out of proportion based because of me speaking out of going through my negotiation. But I mean, I didn't even know Tony. And if the Bulls gave him $100 million, you know, I didn't care what kind of money that they paid him. I just used that as an example to try to say that, you know, I was a player here in the present, and that, you know, I think that I deserve what you're trying to give to Tony. No knocks against Tony. And, you know, when I'm on the court with Tony, there's no feeling in my mind that, you know, I hate him or anything. I play against him hard. I probably play against him harder than anyone else, but Michael Jordan did me the same way. So that's how I got better. But, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I'm like this with Tony.
You go on to win 3 championships. You have an MVP-like season last year. I know Hakeem won the award. Then comes the draft day, and you're almost a Seattle Supersonic again. Shawn Kemp to Chicago, Scottie Pippen to Seattle.
Well, it was very surprising to me at that time. I was in Arkansas doing my basketball camp, and I mean, it was just as shocking to me as anyone else, your name being floated around. You know, the coaches or management, Jerry Krause or anyone, you know, never even mentioned to me or anything about they were trying to see if they can make a trade for me, anything. So, you know, I'm kind of disappointing in that point of view, and being the type of player that I am. I think I'm much more valuable than what they seem to think or what I'm thinking. You know, I just feel bad that they never really came to me or said anything. You know, I'm hearing all these rumors, getting chased by cameras. You know, I wish they would give someone an answer, at least me. I think I deserve that. And, you know, I'm the captain of the team. And, I mean, a few days ago now I get a call that, you know, it's a captain's meeting. I mean, give me a little bit more respect than that.
If the Bulls are looking to rebuild, you understand that, right? You understand that Scottie Pippen can bring you a bunch of young players. You just would like them to handle it differently.
Right. I mean, give me some respect. Let me know you appreciated what I did for you last year or the last few years or my 7 years here. I mean, I think that, you know, if I have to listen to it over the TV or listen to what my friends were telling me, then, you know, I don't have an answer to it neither. I mean, I think that, you know, as a player, that, you know, I deserve a little bit more respect than that.
Horace is gone now. They can't afford you in Orlando, not with the salary cap. But there's still the talk that Scottie Pippen may not be a Chicago Bull at the beginning of this upcoming season or some point during this upcoming season. Does that bother you?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to pack up and go and move, but, you know, I've had a great 7 years here. It's been a lot of fun. I'm well respected here. I got a lot of friends here that I've made. So, you know, I've had fun. I mean, if it's time for a change or whether or not I'm in Chicago, you know, I'm going to be able to deal with it and take it like a man. And, you know, I just want to go somewhere that, you know, I'm comfortable that I can win and that I can bring the same thing to the game that I brought here.
Let's play word association for a second, Pippen. You can give us a short answer on my little list that I have together here. It starts with the head coach, Phil Jackson.
Phil is a great guy, very intelligent.
Horace Grant.
Great friend, you know, great person, a guy that, you know, I'm going to miss as a teammate.
How about the Chicago Stadium?
A lot of great memories, a lot of great fans. Going to hate to leave it.
Doug Collins?
Great guy, great friend, great coach. Just didn't have the opportunity.
Dr. J.
He's my role model. One of the greatest guys that I've ever watched play the game, other than Michael.
Trade.
Shocking to me, but knew it was coming.
Dennis Rodman.
He's a great competitor, guy that helped me to grow as a player because I knew he was an obstacle for me to get over.
Jerry Krause.
No comments.
Tony Kukoc.
Very talented player. Has a great future ahead of him.
MVP.
That's a dream of mine someday. I know my time is ticking down on me, but someday, if the Lord is willing, if I can stay healthy, that's my dream.
Michael Jordan.
The greatest player to ever play the game, and I can say I had the opportunity to play with him.
Jerry Reinsdorf.
Jerry's a great guy, a great person. I enjoy talking with him. He's a great owner.
Charles Oakley.
Charles is a great friend. You wouldn't tell it when we play against each other on the court, but he's a real nice guy, very down to earth, and a guy that really helped me to grow when I first came in the league.
Speaking of down to earth, you have all this. You have 5, 6 beautiful automobiles, but yet you still contest that you can clean a car better than anybody in the world.
I still feel that way. I use my cars to kill time, to relax. And, you know, I just take my time and do them.
You clean your own boat, though? That's a big job.
Sometimes. Most of the time, yeah. I mean, I come down, and if I want to take off at 3 o'clock, then I go down at 1 and spend a couple hours washing my boat.
What's the most important thing that we can take out of this entire conversation, Scottie Pippen, about Scottie Pippen?
Well, I think you realize that, you know, I'm not the person that the media perceive me to be, and I'm not deserving of all the things that the media try to destroy me with.
We hope you enjoyed our coverage of the stadium's last hurrah. For Dyro Joyner, Mike Goldberg, I'm Steve Cashel. Thanks for watching, and for the final word, once again, here's Scottie Pippen.
Hello again. I want to thank you guys for joining me, making this Ameritech Scottie Pippen All-Star Game the greatest charity game of all time. Thank you. We really appreciate it. We appreciate all the proceeds, and believe me, they'll go to a great cause. And hope to see you next year. Ha.
No, I need the fight. I need the fight. Hey, we're finna do your mama trick.
Yeah, let me get. I got one. I just got one.
Hold on.
Let me get this off. His mama's so big and
hold up. We're on TV now.
Hey, his mama's so big and ugly. She was walking through the woods. Bigfoot took a picture of her. Oh my God.
Hold on, my fault. I was thinking that this paper's gonna follow me out. You ready?
Well, I'm glad it's the last day of the stadium. You know why? The locker rooms are terrible. The visitor locker rooms, when Orlando Magic come here, we never can get a good shower. Can't sit down good in the chairs because the splinters all in them. I mean, we want to get to a new arena.
Oh yeah, Scott's a great ball player. We all knew that. He don't want 3 championships, so now I can't talk to him.
Jordan and Pippen. Jordan and Pippen. Jordan and Pippen.